we're in camera raw. It brought it into camera raw. So the first thing, what would we do to bring some, say it again?
Contrast.
I would level. Maybe the building isn't level. Looks like it's not quite level. But that would go into camera raw and hit auto again.
Yeah. Well, we're in camera raw. I will just use the dehaze slider and look what it's done to the sky. Just to that amount of just drama up in the sky. Now the trees need some detail. So how would we do that?
The shadow.
Yes, open the shadows.
Yeah.
Let's just open the shadows. There you go.
Is that Ariella?
Yes, it is.
Ah, yay.
One last thing related to the color in the sky. Come down to the color mixer.
Yeah.
Click on the targeted adjustment tool. Click on hue. And up in the blue, hold it down and move it to the right a little bit to make that a little bit bluer sky than what it was. And then let's open it. Yes, that is Ariella in the foreground. How would we straighten a little bit in the lower portion? How would we go about that?
Use the wrap, edit wrap.
How about your transform that you like?
Yes, that would be it. Select all, edit, transform. And let's start with distort, see if that does it for us. And then over on the lower left, just grab it, pull it down a little bit. Whoop. And then over on the right. Looks like that's all we need to do.
John, is there enough foreground there?
No, there is not. Good question or good statement.
So you could add with the way you do that, your little tricky thing that I use. You could take that grass and bring it down.
Yes, exactly. Why do you think there's not enough foreground? Tell me why that struck you.
Well, two things. One is I see that I want to look at kind of her and the door kind of like back in, and it's way too low in the picture to me. It's like if you're thinking of thirds or whatever, she's way too low. And it looks like there's, with all the sky up there, there just isn't enough grass for my eye.
Can you scrunch the sky as well to bring it up a little bit?
Yes, we'll do both.
Okay.
So I would rephrase it, Cindy, this way of saying
Not your tricky thing.
that smaller amount down there isn't large enough to support all this heavier upper part of the image.
That's what I meant to say.
I know you did. And I could stretch this, or I could do edit, fill, content aware, and let's see what content aware will do, rather than stretching it because there's not a lot of grass to stretch. Let's see what it will do for us.
Come on, do it.
Yes. Come on.
Come on.
How big a file is this, John?
Not very big. It's, like maybe it is. It says 146, but I don't think it really is that. I'd have to go back and look in Bridge for it. But there it is.
Hey, wow, that's much better than doing it the other way.
Because trying to stretch it with as little as was there, it would actually look very stretched. Now, to come back and readjust this a little bit, I would get the clone stamp and try to clone some things to sort of take out of the aspect of so much duplication in certain areas and just click around and take it. So, but it.
John, if you use the Band-Aid tool, yeah.
What's the Band-Aid tool?
Forget the name in
Like a
Photoshop.
Healing.
Healing.
Say it again.
The healing brush.
Okay,
S-O-T.
healing brush.
The healing brush. Yeah.
You mean the healing
Yeah,
brush?
that's the one.
The problem with the healing brush is that that may not pick up everything that well, there are multiple ways of doing the same thing. So you just have to see if it's going to pick up what you want and how it will do it for you. Now, back to you, Cindy. You see how that amount
Yes.
of foreground supports that
Yes.
amount that's above it. Someone else suggested that we scrunch the sky a little bit, so let's do that and see.
Is the building straight?
I don't know. I was drinking that day, so I don't know if that's real. We'll take a look at it in a minute. Let's see how that works.
John, where is this exactly?
This is
The Biltmore house.
the Biltmore house in Asheville.
Oh, okay, got it.
Quite a place. It really is worth paying to go through it. It's a very interesting place.
It's the largest private residence in the country.
Really? It's actually a private residence?
It was at one time. It's now, well, it's privately owned and it's open to the public.
The Vanderbilt family.
It was the Vanderbilt family,
Will you let you
yes.
photograph inside?
Say again?
Yes, you
Can you
can.
photograph inside?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Here's a vertical. It looks straight to me. It doesn't look like it's tilting in any way. This side is tilting. You see that edge there?
Yeah.
And so if we wanted to do anything about that, we would need to, can't grab it, sorry. Come on. Just get rid of it. We would need to select all and then edit, transform, warp, and work with some of the different portions of the image. And so you need to really do that way. Go from the default, maybe 3x3, maybe even more, 4x4, so that I can adjust only a portion of it. Gets very tricky.
That looks good. No. What happened there?
In any case, you understand what you'd have to do. You'd have to use warp and get to a portion of the image.
Cindy, when you come back this way to the south, we should go there. It's a phenomenal place.
I'm in.
Okay.
John, do you mind showing us again how you did the grass at the bottom? I've tried.
Yes, I'll do that again in a minute. Let me finish with the idea of, okay, now we have this sort of the way we want it to look. How can we control the viewer's eye? That's a leading question, and I usually want the answer to be dodge and burn. Dodge and burn. So what would we darken in order to control the viewer's eye?
You'd darken the grass.
Yes, darkening the lower portion of an image always pushes the viewer's eye into the image.
I would darken the trailer on the right.
We would want to we'd really like to get rid of that.
And the bus is on the left.
See this stuff over in here. I would really spend a fair amount of time
I'm getting rid of it, yeah.
with a clone tool and sort of randomly clone some trees down into this area and remove that entirely. That's what I would do with it.
Would you attempt to do it with content-aware fill?
Yes, you can do it that way also. The issue with content-aware fill at times is if you make a selection, let me just do a little lasso around here. And even when you do it with this, do it in small amounts. Don't try to do the whole thing because it's going to pick up areas on the side. But this certainly works. Edit, fill, content aware.
Of course, now you also have the ability for you to be more selective as to what it uses to do the fill.
That's correct. You do. It's a little more sophisticated, and I've used it, but I tend not to go to it. You really need to work on using that one a lot, because you have to darken out and lighten out and change areas and things like that. But it's very effective. What they've done is amazing. One other thing.
I wish her bag wasn't white. For some reason, that white bag just catches my eye. I know she's the center here, but maybe if it was red, I don't know, or blue, something.
Ah, well, that's a good idea. Rather than even darkening it, we could select it. And put a color in it, couldn't we? What'd you like to do? Let's do a dark blue. The way I would do this is to add a blank layer so that when I put the color in, I have the ability also to change the opacity of that. I just did that quickly so that I can do whatever I want with that layer. But that was a good thing to say that was distracting to the eye, as are these buses back here. So this, of course, was not an image I would have used to make a print. I would stand there and wait for some of those things to go by. And I know the gal sitting there, so I would have asked her to move. This was for a shot of her. But I wanted you to go from the simple aspects of what did we do to this to get it to where it has much more impact. Now, someone asked me about the bottom part, so let me go there. There we go.
I also think there's some incongruent about the warmness of the light on the building, and that I think the clouds are, because of the dehaze, it's kind of made them really super cool. And I don't know if they go quite.
Yeah, I understand. It's really personal preference on how you want to submit the image. I probably would want to lighten that up back in there, have that stand out, more of that look to it. But let me go down here. What I did was, there are a couple ways you can do this. One is, if I have enough of an image at the bottom part, I can make a rectangular selection and then edit, free transform, hold the shift key and just bring it down, which will stretch the grass into filling that area. That's one way. And that could work. Could work. The issue with that is there was such a small amount of grass there that I've stretched it down. And if I'm not working with a high pixel level raw file, it would look very stretched. So, but that's one way. The other is make the rectangular marquee and have it pick up a little bit of the grass and then the bottom portion and go to edit, fill, content aware. That's what I have. And let the system try to determine how it can fill that in with what it is seeing for the amount of grass that I gave it to look at.
When I pull when I pull down to get that white space, for some reason, it creates a background layer.
It actually created another layer.
It did.
You were in the crop tool when you did it?
That is correct.
No, you don't. Yes. Let me go back. So you clicked on the crop tool, grabbed this bottom part and brought it down.
Correct.
Let it go and accept it. Click the check mark and you see that what was a background layer over there as a duplicate is now gone. Let me go back. I click on the crop tool, bring it down. You see what's in my layer palette is a crop view and a background. But that's because I haven't accepted it yet. When I accept it, then it's merged back into one.
Oh.
Okay, let's try another one. You guys are doing really well, by the way. I'm impressed.
Quickly before you move on though, so you dropped it, you hit the check mark, and after that.
Let me bring it back for you. I'm going to add a little extra space. By the way, there are two ways to add this is called adding canvas. I can do it with the crop tool, or the most maybe standard way is to go up to image, canvas size, and click at if I want to add it to the bottom, I click this little arrow so that all the arrows are, all one is pointing downward, and I'm only changing the height, so it won't change the width. So I'll make it, let's see, it's 13, I'll make it 15, just to give some extra space. And it will pick whatever color I want here. I'll say white. So now it adds extra canvas. What I ran into one day, just by accident, is by doing the crop. Yeah. It does the same thing. So it does it that way. Was there another question on that?
I think it was to follow through with the transfer.
Right.
I would make some selection. Oh, using the rectangular marquee tool and selecting a fair amount of the grass and coming on down, then edit, fill, content aware.
No, not fill. To do it with transform.
Oh, I see. Got it. Okay.
I think that was the question.
That's correct.
I think that's what.
Yep. Hold on. It's working. Come on. Come on.
Come on.
Calculating all those little pixels.
For people who haven't visited there, the interior is incredible. A lot of carved wood, very dark wood, fireplaces, furnishings, etc. It's at least a day, if not 2 days worth of shooting.
Money was made on the railroad.
I don't know what it's like in the days of COVID, but it's also quite amazing. They do an incredible job at Christmas in terms of decorating inside.
I don't know why this is not working. This is not working for me. When if you don't mind, just walk through this. I've got the white area where it needs to be, but beyond
Okay,
that, it's not working.
I've made a selection of the grass area. Now go to free transform, hold the shift key, grab this middle section, and I can stretch. So this is exactly what I've done with my stretch and scrunch. So I'm just doing it with a stretch.
Great, that worked perfect.
Got it? Yeah.
Okay.
I had trouble because I wasn't holding down the shift key. Once I did that, it worked.
Yes, exactly. It is because Adobe changed how this thing works related to you. Prior 2 versions ago, you didn't need to hold down the shift key. You could just do it. Then they changed it. So I always just say use a shift key. But that's how you could stretch this. And in fact, I think that looks really pretty good.